Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Right now I want to do a quick follow-up with the Samsung S8. Now I got this on Amazon for $150. Now this phone was released in 2017. Now in 2017 this was the latest and greatest. Now of course we're in 2020. Now should you actually consider this phone in 2020? Now I'm going to give you a few reasons as to why I think you should and a few reasons why I think you shouldn't. Now the first thing is the build quality on this phone is fantastic. So this phone is glass front and back. It's got IP rating, so it's got water and dust resistance, IP68. Okay, it's got metal frame. It's got very durable build. It feels good in the hand. Okay, it comes with a very good processor. It's got the 835 Snapdragon. It's got 4 GB of RAM, and it's got NFC. It's got wireless charging. It's got a good camera, very good camera actually. Even though it's only got one single camera, it's still a very, very good camera. Now, Google's had one camera up until the 4, and every single time they've had some of the best cameras. This camera is still very good, even in 2020. And let's go ahead and take a photo so I can show you what a photo would look like. So I'll get my favorite drink here, which is a Rockstar. I'm going to go ahead and snap this real quick and just quick shoot. All right, and see how it comes out. And the photo's fantastic. I mean, the photo is very, very good. It takes really good, crisp photos. I have no problem. Now, a selfie. Let's go ahead and shoot a selfie here. Okay. And the selfie's good too. Selfie is actually very, very good. It's got detail. Shows some wrinkles that I have on my forehead. The camera's good on this phone, guys. I mean, if camera's a issue, this phone's going to actually take better photos than most of your mid-rangers today. The A51, the A71. This camera is actually better than those. Those phones have 4 cameras, but this phone can actually do better photos with one camera. So keep that in mind. Now, there's something that I don't like about this phone. I don't like this Bixby button on the side here. It's actually annoying because every time I want to put the volume up or down, I end up hitting this button here, and then it activates the Bixby. I don't like that. I don't really even use Bixby, so it's just a bad place for a Bixby button. Now, another problem here is this fingerprint sensor. Now, the fingerprint sensor in itself is very, very fast. Now, don't get me wrong, this fingerprint sensor works 99.99999% of the time. The only difference is that every time I want to go ahead and use a fingerprint sensor, I end up pressing down here instead of up here. So I do understand why a lot of people had problems with the fingerprint sensor placement. This is actually a very, very bad spot for a fingerprint sensor. So I wish this was down here instead of up here, but you'll get used to it after a few tries. So that's just kind of one of my big problems. Now, I did an AccuBattery test on this phone, and it's showing 93% battery health. Now, for a used phone, that's unheard of. I mean, especially for a used phone for 3 years, a 3-year-old used phone. I mean, this is very, 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 very good. Most probable thing is they probably actually already changed the battery out. So this is probably brand new battery. And I've done 3 sessions based on 154% charge for $42.99 mAh total. So I'm actually pleased with the battery. The battery is not an issue, and that's the biggest issue that people have when they buy a used phone. So the battery is not going to be a problem for this particular one. Now, I can't talk for any of the other sellers, but this one was the Edge seller. It was $150, and the battery is very, very good. So I'm very pleased with that. Now, this phone, just like every other Samsung, has the Edge display right here, where you can customize your apps. You can edit it and put whatever you want in there. Okay, this one's running Android 9.0. Now, Android 9.0 is a very, very, very good operating system. I really love this version of Android. My LG G8 is still running Android 9.0, and I haven't got the update to 10, but it will get the 10 sooner or later. Now, this one will not get Android 10. Actually, this one's stuck on Android 9, so if that's a big deal to you, if you want Android 10, This phone's not going to get Android 10 unless you do some kind of, if you're good with rooting your phone and you have a custom ROM, you can do that. But other than that, I mean, Android 9 is a very doable and a very, very good operating system. I have no issues with Android 9. I mean, this phone is super smooth. I haven't had any lag issues, and I know people talk about lag, but I haven't had a single problem with lag. Now, I do recommend a phone like this to reset every few months, because if you don't want to have the lag, or if it does start lagging up, you need to reset the phone, because the phone's out of the box are not going to give you lag. The only reason the phone starts lagging is after you put so many apps on there and you use so much of the memory. That's when the phone starts lagging. Now, this does have 4 gigabytes of RAM, which is okay, but you'd want a phone in 2020 with at least 6 gigabytes of RAM or a higher upper tier processor, like an 855. That kind of, if you have like an 855 with 6 gigabytes of RAM, even an 845 with 4 is okay. Even an 855 with 4 gigabytes of RAM. But nowadays, all the phones have, like, all the flagships have at least 6 gigabytes of RAM. So, but for day-to-day use, if you don't want to spend a lot of money and you have a budget of $150 and you have an older Samsung, a budget Samsung or a, previous Note series or previous S series, I would definitely say that this is a good buy for you. Especially if you want to stay in the Samsung ecosystem. If you like the Samsung UI, if you like, the Samsung brand, for $150, I'd much rather you buy this phone than buy an A21 that just came out, or buy a A11, which are about the same price. But those are budget phones. Those are budget phones. They don't have IP rating. They don't have water and dust resistance. They don't have NFC. They don't have wireless charging. They don't have the AMOLED display. I mean, this display is beautiful. So for $150, you can buy a brand new budget phone, or you can buy a 3-year-old flagship. And I'll tell you, in my opinion, I'd go with a 3-year-old flagship, just for the fact that the display on this phone is just fantastic. I mean, this is one of the better displays. Samsung makes almost every display for Apple. So just to let you know, Samsung makes displays for 90% of the phone manufacturers out there. So Samsung knows how to do displays, but their best displays are the ones that they put on their own flagship phones. So I hope that helped, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. And until next time, don't forget to subscribe down below. Thank you.